I know I said I wasn't going to review X-Men 97 until the end of the season. I know I said that. I know I said I really wasn't going to talk about it and all that kind of stuff. I lied. I lied. I lied. Let's get into it.
Found a little extra. Here, take some cream with it.
Aw, thanks, Remy. You're sweet. But our new boss beat you to the pot.
It's 3 sugars.
I'll take a cappuccino if you just taking orders.
No. Luckily, I am giving them.
No, seriously. When did the mutants become this messy? When did we get to this point, man? This show, the showrunners just decided, oh, no, we better be grown. And it doesn't stop there. That's just the tip of the iceberg right there. I'm going to let you know right now, this is a spoiler discussion for the Motendo and Life Death episode, as well as this episode that premiered today, Remembering. Oh my God, this show is brilliant. It's hitting on another level, and it's the best thing. It might be the best thing Disney Plus has ever put on their platform. Like, they've had some good stuff, but as far as Disney Plus originals, if they can stick the landing, X-Men 97 is going to be the best thing that Disney Plus has done since its inception. So Motendo, not really a big deal. There were some interesting things about it. I like the throwback of having Mojo on the show, who is a psychotic television producer or whatever. And I really just enjoyed the story that it told. The most interesting takeaway from this particular part of that episode is the usage of Jubilee's powers in a way that hasn't really been realized on camera or on screen. I want to see Jubilee make it to the point of video game future Jubilee, because that was really cool, just seeing her use her powers like this. So that episode, dope. Or that part of the episode is dope. Life Death, which catches up with Storm and Forge as they're having their little will they, won't they relationship kind of thing going on. You kind of infer that they may have kind of gotten down a little bit already. But you get the big reveal, and again, this is a spoiler reaction video. You get the big reveal that Forge is a big part of the whole Sentinel mutant neutralizer collar device. And that pisses Storm completely off. He's trying to reverse it and trying to make up for his mistakes and give her powers back. She gets pissed off and she leaves his ranch or whatever. And the adversary pops up. And again, the horror elements are on full display. The adversary looks terrifying. And we're left off with basically Storm and Forge getting ready to have a showdown with the adversary. Cut the credits. See you next week, right? Right? Nope. Because they come back with an episode that's completely removed from what we saw at the end of Life Death. Y'all, I'm still trying to recover from what I saw today, which this is where the show hits a whole nother stride. We start off with Magneto and Gambit and Rogue heading to Genosha, where Magneto is essentially going to be asked to become the king of Genosha. And he says he'll only do so if Rogue is his queen. He applying that pressure. He wants his woman. And that leads to Rogue sort of accepting, but of course that means she also has to have a tough conversation with Gambit. And that's where a lot of the heart of this episode lies. You see Rogue go through her entire journey with Magneto and letting Gambit know really it wasn't all beef between those two. There was some genuine love, and it started with her being his pupil and eventually discovering that she can touch him and he wouldn't be affected. And that was the one thing that she's always missed, and that's really the heartbreaking part about Rogue is she can have love in her heart, but she can't necessarily show it in a physical way without harming who she's with. Well, Magneto being that dude, she don't have to worry about that. And it was really well done, just bringing us up to speed because we only know Magneto and Rogue as enemies, but here they do a good job fleshing out their past together and basically bringing us up to speed. This leads to Gambit essentially saying, "Look, I love you so much. We can be friends, and touching you isn't important to me." But Rogue replies, "It's important to her." And she utters out the line, "I can't feel you at the end of the day." Well, I'm paraphrasing on that part, but it's well done, well written out. The voice acting is superb in this scene, and you really feel the emotion from it. And again, it's a testament to the director and the showrunners here. This show is operating on a different level right now. And then we get to this ballroom scene where Magneto and Rogue are flying over everyone and they're dancing, and it's very sensual and it's grown now. It's grown as hell. And Rogue ultimately decides she may not necessarily want this. And right before we can unpack that, the fireworks start, shit starts blowing up. Cable comes out of nowhere and tries to warn his mother, Madeline Pryor, but he's too late. And we see this horrific nightmare fuel sentinel master mold destroying Genosha. And it's horrific, but again, we're going into how well done and how well produced and thought out these scenes are, and you feel the dread that you may have already been feeling because no X-Men episode is complete without any conflict. So you kind of knew it was coming, but you ain't know this was coming. Speaking of Madeline Pryor, that takes me to another part of this episode that was absolutely messy. Jean and Logan kiss each other after she reveals to him that she's trying to put her life back together in terms of her memories, and she can't really pinpoint what it was that she was there for and what she missed, and what may just be shared memories with Madeline Pryor. That's an interesting, captivating conflict. In the midst of Cyclops mourning his son, he appears to be mourning Madeline Pryor, and that's causing him to kind of alienate himself away from Jean. Like they are not talking. So of course it makes sense that she would gravitate towards Logan. Logan kind of is like, look, this is too messy even for me. Kind of curves her to the side. And in the midst of this, we get another interesting piece where Cyclops snaps on a reporter who is kind of doing an expose on the X-Men when she asks about his son. And he goes off and he starts to really sound like Magneto. And that's a key thing because in the comics, Magneto and Cyclops end up getting on one accord, and they really decide we don't give a shit what these humans are wrong. We're gonna protect mutant kind. And that leads me back to the Genosha side of things. Oh, wait, one more thing. You find out that Madeline Pryor and Cyclops are continuing to see each other via a psychic connection. And Jean discovers this. She gets upset, but then something happens. It's like a psychotic shock or whatever. And again, this is kind of going into the shared consciousness with Madeline Pryor, and it gets us to the tragic events of Genosha. So the Sentinel is attacking. Magneto is fighting valiantly to protect the mutants on Genosha. And in a beautifully played out scene, a beautifully realized scene, I would say, he's trying to protect himself and Leech from the Morlocks, as well as protect Gambit and Rogue. And he's using his powers to do both. And it kind of comes to this point where he has to let go. And he looks down at Leech, who is hugging him, and he says, "Don't be afraid," in German. And Master Mold appears to eliminate Magneto. And that was huge. Like, didn't expect it at all. But you don't really have any time to process and recover because Rogue goes after Master Mold. Gambit interferes, takes on Master Mold himself, and using his powers to apply kinetic energy to anything, blows up Master Mode, and kills himself in the process. And the episode ends on a heartbreaking note with Rogue holding Gambit and telling him she can't feel him, calling back to earlier in the episode. It's just, I'm toe up, man. I'm toe up behind that shit. Before I get out of here, there's also a detail around 20 minutes in before everything goes down with Genosha. I thought I was tripping when I saw it. I thought maybe I was just wanting to see things, but Twitter kind of confirmed it for me. The Watcher is present. Anybody who knows the Watcher, he watches basically all the timelines in Marvel, and he's usually present for catastrophic or course changing events. And him being present, that little detail makes me feel like we're headed for the Age of Apocalypse storyline with our 97 roster of X-Men. And the way it's been going so far, I can't wait for them to unpack that storyline. And I hope that all this stuff isn't ultimately undone. I'm all in at this point. So episodes 4 and 5 of X-Men 97. How'd you like it? Let me know in the comments. Continue to like, continue to share, continue to subscribe. I've actually been enjoying discussing things with you all in the comments as well. I appreciate your time. I appreciate everything that you've done for me so far. And until next time, I'm Jarius, the Unapologetic Geek, and I am out.